Thanks for tuning in to Howe's Things, a podcast and radio show from the David A. Howe Public Library, recorded right here in Wellsville, New York. Today, my guest is my old pal and my co-host on 902 Here We Go, Kendra Mikols. Kendra, welcome back.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, you
excited
cut out.
To be here.
Will you do it again? You cut out.
Hello, everyone. Excited to be here.
It was a lackluster hello. It was very low
watt.
I
thought it was because my voice was too high the first time, so I tried to bring it down.
Got it. Okay, I understood. So, Kendra, of course, every week, Kendra and I are together for 902 Here We Go. She's been on lots of episodes of the All the Book Show. One episode of Howe's Things where we were talking about a similar topic that we're going to be covering today. It's an Oops All Bookmark episode because Kendra and I are just going to be talking about all the things we've been reading and comic booking and watching over the last several months. Kendra, are you excited about this?
Yes, it's the stuff that we normally talk about every time that we talk.
Yes.
We're just recording it now,
right, exactly. So. Exactly. We're just running a microphone in a room where Kendra and I are talking. I will say, I feel like out of all of my friends, you and your dumb husband Eric probably are the only ones.
Is that how you refer to him on this show now?
Yeah, I do. Moved? Yeah, right. Yep. Since he's been gone. Anyway, you guys are probably the only ones who like follow and or care about movies and TV to the level at which I do.
It is the same. I think the only other person besides you and your wife is my brother.
Okay.
You are the three people that I can talk to about everything I'm watching and reading.
I'm secure enough in my own pop culture-ness to admit that you surpass me in this. Because
I don't know about that.
No, I think so. I mean, geez, I could tell you every episode of I Dream of Jeannie,
books.
You know?
Not with books.
Okay, all right. But like, I'm sure you've seen every Oscar-nominated movie, correct?
Almost.
Oh my gosh, Kendra. What are you missing?
I got, here, let me show you. Look at my bullet journal. I brought my bullet journal.
That is...
The green dots are the ones I have watched.
Okay. I need to screenshot this for our people. You're either really organized or a serial killer, and I'm not sure which one.
It's a bullet journal.
You're right.
Bullet journals are accepted in society.
Okay.
We are going to watch the last Best Picture nominee we need to watch tonight, actually. And then I will have seen all the Best Pictures. But this year, it's been nice because years past... you know, you haven't been able to watch this stuff.
Yeah.
Like the live action shorts, the documentaries. Like, if you didn't catch it live on TV, when were you ever going to see it? But pretty much everything has been available on some streaming platform this time.
That's nice. That's cool.
So I've been able to watch a lot.
Okay. All right, let's get to movies, but why don't we start with books? Tell me what you're currently reading. Like, as of right now, what are you reading?
As of right this second, I am currently reading... The Heart is a Lonely Hunter by Carson McCullers.
I like that title.
I picked for the book club that I do with my cousins. It was my pick, and that's when I went because I was feeling like a more like classic.
Yeah.
This is a book you need to read in your life kind of book. So I'm not sure when it came out. I want to say the 20s, but I could be wrong about that. I am not very far into it. It's not one of those books where I'm like, I have an hour before bed, let me read this, because it's older and it kind of, you know, those tend to put me to sleep faster.
Yeah.
So I need to just, you know, have a Saturday where I've got a couple hours and I can just sit and read it.
Yeah.
But so I'm not far enough into it really to comment.
Okay. I'm currently reading a book club with friends book club pick similar to you. This one is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Have you read this one yet?
Andy Weir has lost my confidence.
Oh my gosh! After Artemis.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I hated it. I hated it so much.
I agree. So Andy Weir wrote The Martian, and it was a real like rags to riches kind of story because The Martian was just a self-published little thing, and then it kept gaining momentum, and then suddenly, you know, a publisher picked it up, and then it became huge, and the movie, Ridley Scott, Matt Damon, whole big thing. Then we got a sophomore slump with Artemis.
A sophomore, I don't even know. What's worse than a slump?
Avalanche. But I listened to a lot of the audio because I'd heard bad things about it, and we did it for the library book club. We did Artemis a few years back, or whenever it came out, And I'd heard some negative reviews, and so I was listening to the audiobooks. It was read by Rosario Dawson, and I thought surely Rosario Dawson can sell it.
I also listened to the audiobook. Couldn't. It was awful.
It was bad. I am liking Project Hail Mary so far. I'm not very deep into it, but I'm enjoying it, and I'm hoping that like he worked out the kinks, you know.
All right. Hopefully.
But this is so I'm sure I've told you about this book club a million times, but my brother and two friends and I have read a Star Trek and Star Wars book together. And we just alternate Star Trek, Star Wars, Star Trek, Star Wars. And we started this because like we just had a couple books that we were going to read. And that was like years ago. And we've read almost 70 books together now, the four of us.
Yeah, you've read a lot.
And so we were kind of getting to this point where we were like, we have read everything that both Star Wars and Star Trek has to say about the world or characters, you know? So this is the first time that we're branching out outside of like Star Trek, Star Wars, Star Trek, Star Wars. So we'll see how it goes. There was some reluctance because Star Trek, Star Wars books tend to be pretty easy breezy reads, and Project Hail Mary is a little bit chunkier. But I'm excited. I'm excited to diverge.
Yeah.
Let's stick with books for a minute. Have what's some of the other things that you've been reading this year that you've been getting into? Books. We'll talk comic books in a minute.
Well, I will say, since I'm reading The Heart is a Lonely Hunter, and that's more of like a classical book,
sure.
I pulled off my shelf Midnight Sun, the Twilight book that I've already read.
Kendra, we did a whole episode.
In a Twilight mood. I know.
If you want to know more,
the mood to read it again.
Yeah. We did a whole episode about Midnight Sun back on the All the Book show, so you can go back and find it.
It's on my nightstand if I need something just like lighter to read before bed. I don't know. I think seeing Batman and Robert Pattinson has gotten me back into that Twilight mood. Okay. So I might be rewatching the movies again soon. We'll see.
Okay.
But right before I started The Heart is a Lonely Hunter, I read a book that you and I talked about, A House at the Bottom of a Lake.
Oh, Josh Malerman, yeah.
Yes, which you liked.
I did, yeah.
And I thought it sounded interesting. And my husband works at a library. They did not have it at any library, so he used his, he pulled some strings and got them to order it for the library so I could read it. So I read it and he read it. And I really enjoyed it. I mean, I'd never wanted to put it down. It took me like 2 days to read it, but I could have read it in one sitting if I had had the time to do that. So I don't know how I feel about the end.
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
The rest of it was so good. Highly recommend.
So loosely, the plot is these two teenagers, a boy and a girl, go on a little like rowboat, and they get deep into the lake. I guess they're in a lake. And
there's like several lakes. They keep like going farther and further in.
And they find sort of like a little offshoot of this lake, and they're there, and they see a house at the bottom of it, and they go explore, and it's not like a waterlogged, destroyed house. It's like if a house was just under a lake, but everything was normal, the tables and chairs still on the ground, plates still on the table, whatever. And so they become obsessed with it and just keep exploring.
Yeah.
I don't know how you end a book like that. And I was relatively okay with what they did, but it's not a big climax of an ending. So if that's what you're looking for, you're not going to get it. But I think if you're just kind of like, well, what was that all about?
Yeah.
And
it was interesting because my husband read it as he went into it being like, this is a horror book. And I went into it more as this is more like fantasy with some horror elements. Yeah. And I think I enjoyed it more because I was looking at it that way. Like he was disappointed with the horror of it.
Yeah.
So,
that makes sense because
you will.
Well, I think the atmosphere is that of horror, but it's not particularly scary. So, you gotta adjust as you go along.
Yeah.
But that author, Josh Malerman, has several books that came out all sort of back to back. The first book of his I read was Bird Box, and I haven't seen the movie, but I really enjoyed the book. And there's a sequel to that, which I plan to read, and several others. I mean, they all look interesting to me, and I want to just kind of pick through all
I'm definitely going to read more.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That one kind of reminds me of one that I read called Tide Pool by Nicole Wilson. Set in late 1800s. It's about these people who are coming to this little town of Tide Pool trying to investigate if it is a potential for a tourist place. If they can build up this town and make it, like a go-to destination for people. And these weird murders start happening, and it is. I don't think it's giving anything away if you've seen the cover of this book or know anything about it to say that it has a fantastical element to it. So it's a bit of fantasy, a bit of horror, a bit of murder mystery, and it's kind of outside of the things that I would normally read. But I picked it up. I think doing research for a podcast, I came across it and ended up really liking it. So you might like that one as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Put it on the list.
Okay.
I also finished recently a couple more fantasy ones. I read the Alpha and Omega series by Patricia Briggs.
Oh, yes.
And so I read the newest one in that series, and it was good. There's only been one in that series that I was like, kill me now, I hate this. And it was literally just because there were so many horse facts about horses. I was like, stop telling me about horses. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
And if you go on Goodreads, some other people complain about that as well. But this is I picked up this series because I was like, I want something like Twilight, but I'm an adult. Yeah. But I don't want hardcore sexy stuff. Yeah. I just want like a mix of the two. And I think this is the perfect series for that. So
are those not
I feel like
super
I've mentioned
sexy?
It before.
I guess I thought Patricia Briggs' books were pretty sexy.
I feel like they start more sexy, and then I feel like as we've gone on, it's been less and less. There's definitely a sex scene in every book, but it's not like the overall thing. It's not about that. It's about a bunch of other stuff, and that just happens to be there. I recommend that if you're looking for something like that, like I was. I also just read Marissa Mayer's new book, Gilded. Which came out, I think it came out last year, or it came out this year maybe. It's very, very recent that it came out, but she wrote the Lunar Chronicles, like Cinder and Cress and all those, which I loved.
I read Cinder, yep.
And I loved this one. Like I was sad that there was not more.
Is it a one and done? No sequels or anything?
No, it's not. No, it ends on kind of we're definitely going on.
I didn't know that you were allowed to do that anymore. I thought everything had to be franchised.
Yeah, I was like, I really thought it was going to be a one-off. Yeah. So when I got to the end, I was like, Right. The Cinder ones are like, they're fantasy, but it's also like cyberpunk. And she's a cyborg and whatever. Right. This is just straight up fantasy, but with like fairy tale stuff. So I loved it.
Okay.
So I recommend that one.
All right. That sounds good. I'd never read Ursula K. Le Guin before. And so I read her Cat Wings series, which is very, it's not some of the more like heady Ursula K. Le Guin stuff that's out there. It's more of a junior young adult level series. And it's really just about this family of cats that have wings, and there's no explanation given.
Sure.
And there's 4 of these little novellas. I read some to my son. I read some just by myself. And I really enjoyed them. I'm going to be reading The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin for a library book club a little later.
Fun.
So I'm going to dig a little deeper into Ursula K. Le Guin. But this was a nice soft start. If you've never read that author before, it's an easy entry into her work.
I've never read any Ursula K. Le Guin, but my husband loves The Wizard of Earthsea and all those books. So.
Yeah, those are the more well-known ones. But Cat Wings is, like I said, nice little simple entry point. I got to tell you, Kendra, it's been 2 years of me complaining about this, so this is not news for anyone. I have not fully regained my ability to just like pound through books the way that I used to. I don't know. I'm still.
For me, I go through moments.
Yeah.
Like I read like Gilded, Wild Sign, House at the Bottom of the Lake, and now it's just like I'm not reading it.
Yeah.
I mean, I am, but I'm like not. So yeah. I feel that.
I think in some ways it's my patience that has changed more than anything, because I used to. I mean, years ago, I had a lot of trouble stopping a book, even if I despised it. And I've gotten over that a little bit. But I still was able to kind of push through books that I were just kind of like, whatever. And now, I don't know. Like, if it's not just grabbing me, I have a hard time. It is. You're right. You are right about that. In another just a light book that I read Is This Anything by Jerry Seinfeld.
Fun.
Yeah. I listened to the audiobook on that, which is read by Jerry Seinfeld, which is the way to go. The only complaint I have about it is that it is a lot of it is like him going through his old bits and just kind of talking about that and his life as a comedian, kind of taking you through the different decades. So if you're somebody who's heard a lot of Seinfeld bits, his stand-up specials or whatever, I feel like you've heard a good 75% of this book already. So that's the only caveat I'll put on there. Still fun to revisit, but I was like, yeah, I know that one. Bloodstains? If you got bloodstains, maybe laundry isn't your biggest problem right now. I'm like, yeah, I know the punchline to that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any other books, or do you want to talk comics? I know you have a list of comics.
The only other book that I read this year that I would really like put high was The Boys by Ron Howard and Clint Howard. Just a great story of 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s kind of Hollywood and television. Really interesting. Also a good audiobook read by both of them, so I would say check that out. But yeah, let's dive into some comics. Where are you at comic-wise, Kendra?
I did just read the entire manga series for, it's called Emma.
Oh.
And I went to the library, randomly found the first volume of it, picked it up, and then the Charlotte library system did not have at any of the libraries anymore. So I asked my husband, who works in a different library system, do you have these? And he brought home like mega volumes.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my goodness. And they have all of them, all 5 of the mega volumes. So he just kept bringing them home and I kept reading them. And I read all 5 giant volumes in a few weeks. And it was cute. It's like it's a romance in like, I don't know, I get my time periods mixed up, but like Victorian England, where it's like a maid and a nobleman kind of fall in love,
so it's
but their family's against it.
Doesn't have anything to do with like the book Emma.
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm. But yeah, it was pretty cute.
Weren't you also reading Snow White with the Red Hair?
Yes, I haven't gotten another volume of that recently, but I did read volume 17.
Okay.
So that's how far I am.
Okay.
And I love it. It's really cute.
That's pretty deep, 17. I've only I've seen maybe the first handful of episodes of the anime, but I haven't read any of it.
Yeah, I do want to watch it, but I've just been into reading it.
Yeah.
So
no, I was enjoying it. We just got away from it. I don't read a ton of manga, but I did just recently read the first volume of My Hero Academia. Have you read any of that?
No, I missed that train.
Yeah.
Completely.
The library was doing like a teen book club on that, and so I just picked it up and read it just so I know what they were talking about, and I did like it. I mean, it's just sort of a superhero school, and there's a guy who doesn't really have superpowers, but is very earnest and ready to be a superhero. So I picked it up just because, but I would read more. Mm-hmm. I liked it. I've read a few.
I gotta finish. Attack on Titan is finishing, so I gotta finish that before I can watch any other anime.
I've read some of the tie-in. Like I just read volume 1 of Batman and the Justice League, the manga. I really enjoyed the Leia, Princess of Alderaan manga and the Star Wars Rebels stuff. So I've read a lot of that stuff, but in the more legit manga world, I haven't done too much outside of My Hero Academia recently. I've finished some runs recently. I was doing a sort of a book club read off on Immortal Hulk with Eric, who you're married to. 50-issue series, starts one way, ends another. It was a wild ride. I'm glad to have read it. I don't know that I would rate the series as a whole high, because I feel like, much like the series Lost, which I know you love the ending, and we're not going to get into it.
I do.
It sets
things
up.
I don't love it, but I accept it.
It sets things up in the beginning, and then it sort of ends answering different questions than it initially asked, and it just kind of changes along the way. I still enjoy it, and I love a good Hulk story, and there was a lot of good Hulk stuff in there. I also finished Astonishing X-Men. Have you read any of Astonishing X-Men?
I don't think so.
When it came out, it was sort of, I don't know, this title I feel like went a little more mainstream than comics tend to go. It seems like everybody read the first couple of volumes of Astonishing X-Men, and I did too. And then I didn't. I read maybe the first 3 volumes or something like that, and I just got away from it. So over the last year or so, I was like, you know what? That's a contained run. I'm just going to finish the whole thing. And just yesterday, actually, I read the last volume, and it is just, boy, talk about a glow down. By the end of it, you're just like, please stop making issues of this series. It just... it's not good by the end. The first couple of volumes are very cohesive. And then after that, it's just kind of like, well, we'll tell this kind of story for a few issues. Well, we'll do this now. And it doesn't have an identity.
I just don't know when to quit sometimes.
I guess not. I have been having a fun time with DC had an imprint called Wonder Comics, and it was pretty much led by Brian Michael Bendis. There was a series, Young Justice, Dial H for Hero, Wonder Twins, Amethyst, and a Ginny Hex one-off, and Naomi, which is adapted for a series on CW right now. I really loved Wonder Twins Volume 1 and Young Justice Volume 1 and Naomi, all really strong books. And while they do continue, particularly Wonder Twins and Naomi, you could just read those first volumes and be good, but they're a lot of fun. Is
Cool.
that it for you with comics?
I did. Well, there are some comics I've read this year that I can mention.
Let's do it.
I read last year the trilogy by V.E. Schwab, I think it's Shades of Magic trilogy. And I loved it so much. And then I found out that there are comics. There's 3 volumes of the Shades of Magic. And it's a prequel series that follows the king in the book series as a young man.
Okay.
And I loved all of them. I rated them all 5 stars.
Okay.
So if you liked that series, I'm trying to think if you need to have read the books, and I think you could figure it out.
Okay.
Like, I think the jumping between Londons isn't a thing in the prequel series, so it's just a fun fantasy series if you haven't read it. I also read, after we watched the episode of What If, I read the Marvel Zombies story.
I hate Marvel Zombies.
I didn't hate it. I gave it 4 stars.
Okay. So
that's it for me, though.
Okay. I want to mention, I've been really enjoying Marvel's digital exclusive stuff. I have the Marvel Unlimited app, and they have a series called, well, it's not a series, but more of like an imprint called Infinity Comics. And they're specifically designed for phone scrolling. Like they scroll up and down. It's like an infinite scroll.
Yeah.
And they're you read It's Jeff. It's Jeff. That's an Infinity comic, that's more of a goofy comic strip style about a little shark who just wants to fit in.
It's the best. I love it.
But there's a lot of series like that are a lot of fun. My favorite is Spider-Bot, and it's kind of similar to It's Jeff in that it's little like quick bite kind of quick bite because he's a shark. Just little short stories about Spider-Man's little like drone bots that he uses on missions. They're just the main character of it, and I like it. It works a lot. I just read a Deadpool one that was cool. And in fact, just guest hosted an episode of Previously on X-Men where we talked all about Deadpool, the Invisible Touch. So you can go find that wherever you find your podcasts. So I really like those. They're perfect for like reading in bed or something, to just kind of like zoom. I like it a lot. And I like that they're actually, like, they've adapted it specifically for like a phone. I think that's just clever, and I don't know why it's taken as long as it has to do anything like that. But here we are.
Yeah.
2 more comics to mention.
What a time to be alive.
I know. I read El Defo, which is a junior graphic novel. It's about a little girl who has hearing issues. I can't remember. She has a childhood illness that makes it so her hearing is very limited. And it's set in the 70s, 80s. And so the hearing aid she has to wear is like a big thing around, like she wears on a necklace, this big thing, and like wire kind of headphones go into her ears. And so, that just how she navigates things socially, kids start calling her El Defo, like to make fun of her. And she sort of adopts it. And it's like, that's her superhero persona. Again, this was another library pick for sort of like the 8 to 12-year-olds, and I read along and just really liked it. I thought it was really cool, and just a good way to show kids a different perspective of different people's experiences, and so I thought that was great. And then Run by John Lewis. This is a continuation of the March series, which won every award known to man, and this is just continuing on the story of John Lewis and the ongoing fight for civil rights. Really well done.
Nice.
Kendra, let's talk sitcoms.
Let's do it.
What are you sitcomming at the moment?
We've been watching, I feel like it's on a break right now, but we've been watching Home Economics.
Okay.
Which is on its 2nd season.
Okay. Who's in that?
It's Topher Grace.
Okay, I haven't seen it, but I know the one you mean.
Yeah, Sashir Zamata's in it. She was on SNL.
Oh, I love her. Yeah. How do you feel about that 90s show?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish they would just make it its own thing, like not connect it to that 70s show, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to rewatch that 70s show, and it is nowhere to stream.
No.
You have to purchase it.
No, the DVD.
And I used to have it, and I apparently got rid of it a crazy person.
Wow, that is crazy. Yeah, I remember when you got that for Christmas one year. Wow.
No, Eric just bought it for me. He just found it.
Oh, okay.
And bought it for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
All of
I
it
was
on
with him when he
DVD.
did that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And I got rid of it.
Wow.
I guess because I can't find it anywhere.
Wow. Wow.
I know.
Okay.
Crazy.
I have been, I think, along with my my inability to just binge read, I felt the same way about like dramas and things. So I've been in a big sitcom zone. That's why I'm asking you. So are you ready for my long list?
Do it.
I'm just gonna hit you with them all. Okay. Ghosts on Paramount Plus or CBS, I guess. It's based on a British show, and it's about this couple who inherit an old house. They're going to turn it into a bed and breakfast. The wife has a head injury and then when she wakes up, she can see all the ghosts that have like haunted this property for centuries. Doesn't seem like it should work, and it works so well. Also on CBS, Young Sheldon. I know you never got into the Big Bang Theory, but again, I think Young Sheldon, you don't have to know anything about the Big Bang Theory. It's just a good early 90s set sitcom about a quirky family, and I really like it. I think it's really cool. Newer stuff, Grand Crew. We're watching on Hulu right now. Really fun, just about this group of friends.
Nicole Byer?
Yeah. Echo Kellum, that's his name. Who's the main character in that. He was also in Arrow. He was Mr. Terrific in the Arrowverse. Really funny, though. Really funny stuff. Single Drunk Female, also a lot of fun. That's Freeform, I think. It's about this girl who, it's just gets, like, her alcoholism gets to be so much of a problem that she loses her job and has to move back to her small town, and she's just trying to, like, get her drinking under control and get her life under control. Which none of that sounds like the premise for a funny show, but it's actually, it's good and interesting. How I Met Your Father, I've been really liking. I know you're a big Hilary Duff fan, Kendra.
I watched the first 3 episodes, maybe 4, and I just haven't gone back to it.
Yeah. I don't
know. I don't know what it is that I'm not liking.
So it's not great. I wouldn't be like, oh, you have to watch this. And I think even though the original How I Met Your Mother went on for way too long and I don't think would hold up if you watched it again, it does a lot of the things that show did. It makes me a little nostalgic for that show. I think if we wouldn't have just been like doing other things and the next episode started, we probably wouldn't have watched more. But I'm kind of glad we did because I feel like it's settling into its own thing. And then I'm also watching, when Blackish first started, I watched like the first season and then got away from it, but it's all on Disney Plus now. And I loved it, and so I've been going through that. And then I'm just recently discovered Fresh Off the Boat, which I never watched when it was on.
I've heard that is so funny.
It's really funny. Yeah, I'm only in the first season right now. When I'm at work and I like bring my lunch, I usually like bring that up on my phone and watch Fresh Off the Boat while I eat at my desk. That's a little window into my life.
Nice.
Let's talk dramas, Kendra.
I do have a couple other...
Yeah.
Well, hold on. I have a couple other funny shows.
Okay.
I have been watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Never seen it framed.
If you can believe it, you would not like it at all.
Okay, thank you.
But there's 15 seasons of it on Hulu, and they're still going. They're still making new episodes.
Wow.
So I'm on season... and each season is only like 10 to 13 episodes long. Like
number.
A lot of them are actually like 8 or 9 episodes.
It's a perfect number.
So I really think you would hate it, Nick. But
why? I'm curious. Why would I hate it?
It's very crude, very crude, and it's just about 5 people who are the most selfish and disgusting people ever.
Oh, that doesn't sound great.
Getting into shenanigans.
Do you think I'm a prude?
It's kind of like Seinfeld, but they're worse people.
Oh.
I've also we got away from Abbott Elementary, but I was loving it. So we're definitely going to go back to it. And we also have been watching on Paramount Plus Detroiters, which I think there's 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And it was canceled a while ago, but it's
that's Tim Robinson, right?
Tim Robinson and
I know I can't think of his name either. I've been watching that actor. He's in After Party as well, which I've been watching on Apple.
Yeah, he's so funny. I have loved him since his first second on Veep.
Yep,
He's been one of my favorite people. Sam Richardson.
There you go. Okay.
So Sam Richardson, Tim Robinson. There's 2 seasons on Paramount Plus. It is so funny.
Okay.
I love it so much.
Nice.
I think we've stopped watching it because we're getting close to the end and we don't want to be done with it. So that's on Paramount Plus, and then we've also been watching Star Trek Lower Decks.
Love it.
Which is a sitcom,
yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I'd count it as a sitcom.
Also on Paramount Plus.
Okay.
Very funny.
Let's
now dramas.
Yeah, let's stick with Star Trek and transition into dramas. So I just finished Star Trek Discovery season 4. Man, that show. I hated it, then I kind of liked it, and then I hated it, and then I really hated it.
And now you're back to hating it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then I'm glad I haven't gone back to it.
No, I wouldn't really recommend it. I will say the spin-off that's coming out, Strange New Worlds, with Anson Mount as Chris Pike, I am excited about that. And they've said it's going to be more episodic and more like akin to the original series, so I'm all in for it. Star Trek Picard, which I hated in the first season. The second season, I'm kind of like, whatever. Yeah, it's not the show I want it to be, but sure. Let's follow these guys on a kooky time travel adventure. Why not? So
we've got to get back to that.
I'm actually having a decent time with it. The Star Trek that I will recommend, though, is Star Trek Prodigy, which is the animated series that is it's like a Nickelodeon Paramount like co-production. 10 episodes. I want to say 10 episodes are out right now. Kate Mulgrew is back as Janeway, or rather a hologram of Catherine Janeway. It's just good. I mean, it's just a good sci-fi show. And what's really nice about it is that my son is like 100% on board for it. Like, he'll be like, what day is it? Oh, is there a new Star Trek Prodigy? You know, and it's just kind of fun because like we all like it, you know, on the same amount. So that's really cool.
Nice.
Here's some of my other. Apple Plus is hitting out of the park for me. I'm just enjoying everything that's on there. They've got so many things coming out that I want to see. But we just finished After Party, which was fun. I think it probably would have been a better movie than a series, but still fun. And I'm absolutely loving Severance with Adam Scott.
Everybody is. I gotta just.
You gotta get on board.
I do. I don't know. With dramas, I just have to be in the right mood for it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like I've been watching Always Sunny or SpongeBob while I work during the day. I feel like that's all my brain has been able to handle.
One or the other. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I've been watching on Hulu The Dropout, starring Amanda Seyfried, playing the woman who ran the company Theranos and was a big liar, and she's in big trouble.
Yeah.
It's really good. And Amanda Seyfried is perfect.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know anything about her,
and I do
woman,
not.
Her voice starts out normal, and as she like gets going into this company, she like is trying to change her persona and look like Steve Jobs. So she starts wearing black turtlenecks, and she brings her voice down several registers.
Oh wow.
And just like without explanation starts talking in a lower voice.
It's bold.
And Amanda Seyfried does it perfectly. It's so good. So I had actually read the book Bad
Blood. Look at you.
By John somebody. I want to say Carry On is his last name. I read it like 2 years ago, and then now the show is out. So I'm like, I like know all about this because I read the book. Also, I recently watched on Netflix Criminal UK.
Oh, I've seen that.
And I definitely want to watch the other criminal shows. There's like Criminal Spain, Criminal Germany. But I can't watch them during the day while I'm working because they are in other languages. So I would have to actually look at the screen and pay attention.
Yeah.
But I love it. Every episode is just they're interrogating a different person.
Got it.
In an interrogation room. And just trying to get them to confess or whatever. And yeah, I loved it.
I think I already told you about my binge of Dope Sick on Hulu with Michael Keaton when I was really sick and I just like laid in bed and watched all of Dope Sick in one day. Really, really great story. Michael Keaton does a great job, but the whole cast is just strong, really good, really interesting kind of show. I gotta tell you, Kendra, I'm loving getting back to the, like, rather than a binge drop of episodes, having to wait, like, say, every Thursday for Star Trek Picard, or every Friday for Severance, whatever it is. It's kind of nice to have that structure back in my life again.
Yeah, it definitely is. I feel like we're kind of half and half now with a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice. Like, I have the ones that I'm like, I know it's all there and I can watch it, but like The Dropout comes out every Thursday and I have not watched this week's episode. Yeah. So yeah, I know what you mean. I don't know if I've talked about it on this podcast that I watched the Kristen Bell show, The Woman in the Window Across the
Oh,
Street from The Woman in the Window, or whatever it is.
yeah.
Um,
And I mean, it is a spoof of that kind of thing, right? I mean, it's
it
meant,
it
yeah.
is, it is, but I feel like it walks the line of like it's got that intense feel, but
Okay.
also it's got Kristen Bell just like narrating nonsense,
Yeah.
and I think it's worth the watch. I
Okay.
thought it was really funny,
Okay.
especially if you like those kind of books, like, Girl on the Train, The Woman in the
Mm-hmm.
Window. I think you will enjoy that show.
Okay.
I finally watched The British Office.
Oh,
I had never
wow.
seen it before.
Now listen,
And
people, if you don't know how deep Kendra goes in on the American Office, just picture a number of times that is reasonable to rewatch that show, multiply it by a factor of 5, and you've got Kendra in the American Office. So now you've gone full circle and seen the original.
I watch The American Office pretty much every day of my life.
Right.
At least one
Yeah.
episode.
It's not healthy. It's not good for you, but
And so I had never seen The British Office. I had been told that I wouldn't like it because I liked The American Office so well, so I've kind of just been like, whatever. But I was in between shows and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. And it is so funny.
yeah, it is. It's pretty good.
I understand now why people thought it wasn't gonna work in America,
Yeah.
because there's so many jokes made that
Yeah.
just would not fly
True.
on American TV.
Yeah. I think its
But
overall tone is more mean-spirited than the American Office too.
yeah,
You know.
I agree. And a lot of people have talked about like they had to make Michael Scott like he's an idiot, but he's good at his job,
Right.
whereas David Brent is just an idiot and bad at his job, but
Right.
somehow he still keeps his job,
Yeah.
and that wouldn't have worked in America.
Right.
So I'm glad I finally watched it. I think it's hilarious. I did not realize that the guy who plays Gareth, who is the Dwight character, is the guy from all the Pirates of the Caribbean
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until I watched the first episode, and I
Yep.
was like, "Oh man!"
It's funny.
And
It's funny
the
how
the
close.
Pam character, she's been in a bunch of stuff
Yeah,
now too.
yeah.
And of course, Martin Freeman. So
Sure. Yeah,
yeah,
she's
yeah.
I think I guess with Wonder Woman, she's Etta Candy in Wonder Woman.
Hmm.
But I think it's interesting how close the pilots are. Like they're almost
Yeah.
very few. And also the ending, the way the American Office ends really mirrors the way the original ends. So,
Yeah,
well, you did it. Good for
Mhm.
you.
I did it. Yeah,
Good for you.
finally.
I've been going back and catching up on Batwoman.
Ooh.
I watched the first season pretty regularly with Ruby Rose. And then when there was that whole casting shakeup and everything, we started the second season and I was enjoying it, but they were kind of trapped in explaining the major change. And so the first couple episodes of the season feel so clunky of like, well, there's a different Batwoman now, but all the characters are still, and so it's a little like, okay, we get it. By the time you get to the middle of the season, they're really kind of finding their groove, and I'm liking it. I haven't seen the third season at all, and I'm just finishing up the second, and I don't think it's been renewed for a fourth yet. It's kind of in limbo at the moment, but I'm digging it. That's been fun. The thing that maybe I'm most excited to watch right now is Shining Vale, which is on Stars, and it's
with Courtney Cox.
Courtney
right?
Cox and Greg Kinnear. Yep, and it a lot of homages to The Shining. Courtney Cox plays an alcoholic writer, and they go to this it's not a ski resort up in the mountains, but they buy this old house kind of in a small town, and she's like, I just got to focus on my writing. So a lot of parallels there. It also straddles a line between comedy and horror really well. I mean, both Greg Kinnear and Courtney Cox are just like hitting it out of the park all the time. Their chemistry is really good together, and the switch between like this is funny, this is scary, they're really nailing. So I think only 4 episodes have aired at our time of recording now, but I'm in for it. So let's keep going.
Nice.
Yeah.
I watched the only 2 seasons. They're filming the 3rd season of a British show called All Creatures Great and Small.
Yeah.
Which apparently there was an old show. They're remaking it now. There's a bunch of books.
Yeah, based on books.
And I love it. It's got like the same stakes, I guess, as like Downton Abbey.
Okay.
But there's a lot of cute animals because it's about they're vets in the countryside, so they're helping animals, but there's also some drama. So I loved that, and I also watched PBS recently did Around the World in 80 Days with David Tennant,
Oh, okay.
and that was really good. It's only like 7 or 8 episodes, but I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk movies now?
Yes, let's talk movies.
You're gonna beat me on movies because I was looking
Here,
through.
do you want to see my list of
Yes.
the movies I've watched this year?
Oh,
Here it
see,
is.
I need to do this, Kendra. I need to do this every
Yes, you
year.
do. You
Oh,
gotta
wait.
get a bullet journal. I
Hold-
need to put my stars.
Yeah, you do. Hold that up. Yeah, I've also seen Tick Tick Boom. I didn't include that on mine, and I've seen Encanto. Look at that, so many.
Look at that.
Let me tell you the movies that I've seen, Kendra, and then I'm just gonna let you go hog wild. Okay. I watched Being the Ricardos, directed by Aaron Sorkin with Javier Bardem and Nicole Kidman.
We're gonna watch that tomorrow.
I think it's really fascinating performances from Javier Bardem and Nicole Kidman. I don't think it's a great story. I think it breaks off it takes several things about the I Love Lucy era and sort of melds them into all of this is coming to head in 1 week. And so because of that, I feel like it's not really about any one of those things, and any one of those things could have been a good movie. So I just don't think it balances its plot lines correctly, for my taste anyway.
Do you think, as a non-expert about I Love Lucy, that I will feel the same, or do you think just because you know so much it bugged you?
Well, Kendra, we've been to the Lucy Desi Museum together, so I know, you've got some knowledge here. No, I don't think it's really because I know things about I Love Lucy. I just think the plot points that they bring up aren't really fully fleshed out, and so I don't think you're left with a full picture of any of them. But I'll be interested to see what you think. Watch The Tender Bar, directed by George Clooney, starring Ben Affleck and others. Loved it. That's probably my favorite movie that I've seen this year. I like that one a lot. Yeah, I really liked it. Watched House of Gucci with Lady Gaga and Adam Driver.
Father, Son, and House of Gucci.
Have you seen it yet?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine.
Like when you walk away.
I mean, Adam Driver and Lady Gaga I thought were great.
Again, yeah, great performances, but like I don't know anything more about Gucci, I guess, than I did before, and I don't really know what you're supposed to have learned. But anyway, I saw The Batman and loved it.
The Batman. I loved it too.
Such a bad attitude.
I really loved it. And I was so pumped for this movie that I was scared that I was going to watch it and be sad afterwards because it was bad, but I loved it.
I was the exact opposite. I was like, I don't need another moody, broody Batman movie. I went with my brother and my brother-in-law for a birthday thing, and I was kind of like, yeah, let's go see The Batman. I've got 3 hours to kill. And I walked away being like, I think I loved that. It was like one of those things where half hour in, I was like, am I loving this? Do I love this movie?
See, you needed the right moody broody Batman.
I guess so.
You needed Robert Pattinson. That's who you needed.
Apparently, Kendra. Apparently. Do I need to go watch Water for Elephants now? What's my life?
I've been wanting to rewatch that actually because
Okay.
I've only seen it once, like forever ago.
And then finally, I saw Deep Water with Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas.
Just came out. You've already watched it?
Yeah.
Wow.
It is
That's
based
on my list.
It's based on a Patricia Highsmith novel from like the 50s. Yeah, and it doesn't, I mean, I think it definitely has that adapted from a book feel, but they don't have any trouble modernizing it. I don't think that I would rate it high. I don't know, it's hard. I guess it's one of those like terrible people doing terrible things kind of movies, and so when it ended, both my wife and I were just kind of like, yeah, boy, them's are the breaks, you know? It wasn't really. But
well, the commercials are calling it the sexy thriller of the year. Is that how you would categorize it? The sexy thriller of the year?
It's definitely sexual. I don't know that I found it particularly sexy or particularly thrilling.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like another weird thing that's happened like over the last maybe 10 years or so. I'm like, I guess I really like Ben Affleck. I don't know.
Interesting.
Like early 2000s me would have been like, what? But I don't know. Most of the things I see Ben Affleck in now, I'm like, yeah, that's a really good performance. And I love his directing.
See, I feel like I could take or leave Ben Affleck.
Okay.
Like, great, Ben Affleck is in this.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to the theater for Ben Affleck.
Have you seen The Town?
Yes.
I love
did
The
like
Town.
The Town.
I don't think The Town gets enough. I don't know.
I think Argo might be my favorite Ben Affleck
really?
movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I feel like his performance in Argo, he's doing a great job of the guy he's playing, but that guy was real, like, low-key monotone. And because of that, it felt a little boring to me.
Interesting.
I mean, I ended up really liking this Matt Reeves directed Batman movie, but I was really excited about the idea of a Ben Affleck written and directed Batman. I would have really liked to have seen that. I'm sad we didn't get to. All right, Kendra.
So sad.
Your time has come. Let me hear it.
Well, a lot of these, because listeners to the show might know that I love the Oscars. I try every year to be like, the Oscars are stupid. I hate them. But then I always love them. Wow. So many of these I've been watching for the Oscars. So I'll start with The Power of the Dog, which is on Netflix, starring Benedict Cumberbatch and Jesse Plemons and Kirsten Dunst.
You know who didn't like that movie? Sam Elliott. Not a fan.
Yeah,
Sam
that's
Elliott
what I
didn't.
heard. He just really didn't like it.
No, he didn't.
It's great. The cinematography is great. I mean, all the acting is great. I love when people who are married in real life are together in movies, and Jesse Plemons and Kristen Dunst are married in real life.
They sure are.
And they're together in this film.
Uh-huh.
So I would not be surprised if it took Best Picture. I wouldn't vote for it for Best Picture, but wouldn't be surprised.
Okay.
Tick, Tick, Boom. I loved it. It was so good. Vanessa Hudgens, Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
5 stars. Loved
Andrew
it.
Garfield, he's having a year. I feel
he really
like.
is.
Yeah.
He really is. I watched another movie with him in it that I'll talk about in a minute.
Spider-Man?
Let me see. Yes, I did watch Spider-Man. Licorice Pizza, which we already talked about.
Yeah.
You did not like it.
No, I didn't really dig Licorice Pizza. No.
I loved it. I didn't want to see it, and I left being like, that was so good. I loved it.
I love pizza.
Yeah, sure. I still don't understand the title. Did they mention Licorice Pizza at all in that movie?
No, I don't think so.
I have no idea. I don't know what the title means.
Yeah, I never really thought about it.
We watched, this is not an Oscar nominee, but we watched Nobody, starring
Bob Odenkirk?
Yes, Bob Odenkirk.
Okay.
It's great. It's got like a John Wick kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Really good. I saw Scream 5 in theaters.
Oh, wow.
And it's a Scream movie.
Sure.
So it's on the same, and I enjoyed it. And I haven't seen 3 or 4. I've only seen, I've seen 1 all the way through. I've seen bits of 2, never seen 3 and 4.
Okay.
So I had to read up on what happened in those before I saw it. But yeah, I had a good time with that. Oh goodness, there's just so many. Don't Look Up.
Oh, right. Yeah, like Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence.
Nominated for Best Picture. Yeah. I enjoyed it. I think it was too long. I think it was way too long.
That's always the way.
But I did enjoy it.
Okay.
I watched Encanto finally.
Yeah, I've seen that.
We're singing We Don't Talk About Bruno in my choir, and I was like, I guess I need to watch the movie because we're singing this song.
Yes.
So I get it now. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cute. It's not my new favorite Disney movie or anything, but I thought it was good. Okay. Here's my list of Oscar things I've watched. Spencer, starring Kristen Stewart.
Oh yeah, I watched that too.
A+.
Yeah.
There you go. Did you like it?
I thought Kristen Stewart was just phenomenal. But
yeah, I thought she was so good.
I think everything I've seen a lot of Kristen Stewart indie movies, and like everyone I've seen, I've been really impressed with her as an actress. I don't know. I feel like she's still suffering from the lack of street cred based on being in the Twilight movies.
They both are. I think she and Robert Pattinson both. Like when I told my dad Robert Pattinson was Batman, he was like, Twilight is Batman? It was like, he's done a lot of other things.
That's true. Like Harry Potter.
Yeah. Sure. But yeah, I thought she was amazing in this movie. The Lost Daughter, starring Olivia Colman and Dakota Johnson. They were both good. I found the movie to be slow and depressing.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't really like it.
Okay.
The Eyes of Tammy Faye, starring Jessica Chastain and Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, Garfield.
I did not want to watch it.
Okay.
I really didn't, but I was like, fine, I'll do it. And It was so good.
Huh.
They both are amazing. And I feel like I would give Best Actress to Jessica Chastain.
Okay.
I just think she went for it. I think she deserves it.
I feel like, though, just from her role in X-Men Dark Phoenix, she's not allowed to win any Best Actress awards after that.
She has to be punished.
She's got to dig herself out of that pit. Yeah.
I also watched Coda, Coda, which is on Apple Plus and is nominated for Best Picture and for other awards.
Yeah, there's a lot of awards.
It was so good.
Oh, okay.
I loved it. We both went in thinking like, oh, this is going to be sad, but it really wasn't.
Okay. That's good to know.
It's a more hopeful, inspiring
That's
movie,
one, because as I've already said, my love of the Apple Plus content, that's one that I've hovered over being like, should we watch it? And we just haven't yet, so.
We finally did it the other night. We'd kind of been avoiding it because, again, we just thought it was going to be sad, and we were in the mood for that, but it's really not.
Yep.
Cyrano, we just saw.
Oh, okay, with Peter Dinklage. Yeah.
With Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
I liked it. My husband really liked it.
Okay.
The music, I think, is good. I want to listen to it all again because there were definitely some standout songs. I just thought it was good. Not great, I guess.
Okay.
But it's worth the watch, I think. And it's nominated for like best makeup or costumes or something.
So you go all in with these Oscar noms.
Yeah, well, here's some documentaries I've watched.
Hit me.
Summer of Soul, which I think might take it.
I did want to see that, yeah.
Which is about a concert event like Woodstock that happened in Harlem pretty much the week after Woodstock. It was filmed, and the film sat in a basement for 50 years. Jeez. And now they've brought it out. So no one's ever seen it.
Wasn't this put together by Questlove, like from The Roots?
It was.
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
It was. I would not be surprised if that takes it.
Okay.
But the Attica documentary, it's just called Attica, was also very good.
Okay.
I didn't really, I knew what Attica was. I knew it was about a prison revolt, but I did not know specifics. Mm-hmm. And they have people, prisoners from the prison are interviewed.
Oh, wow.
Today, and they just, take you through what happened. It's crazy. It's upsetting as well. So, just be aware of that. Some other documentaries. Lead Me Home is on Netflix. It's about homelessness in some of the major cities in America.
Okay.
Very, very sad, but very eye-opening. Audible is probably my favorite documentary short. It follows a football team at a school for the deaf.
Oh.
And they're the best football team in the state.
Interesting.
And so it's following the students, and
yeah.
I really, really enjoyed that. And then just some of the other shorts I've watched. The Long Goodbye, which stars Riz Ahmed, who actually has several things because he's in this, but he also produced, I think, the animated movie Flea, Flee, which I just watched yesterday. Flea is nominated for Best Animated Movie, Best International Film, and Best Documentary.
Oh, wow.
I think. It's nominated in 3 different categories. It was very good, but again, it's heavy. It's about a family trying to escape from Afghanistan.
Oh, wow.
And just their struggle to get, they go to Russia, they get stuck in Russia for a while, then they try to get smuggled out to meet their family, and it's very intense, but the animation is amazing. Okay. But anyway, the last one I'll mention is The Long Goodbye, starring Riz Ahmed. It is on YouTube. It is all of 11 minutes long. It's nominated for Best Live Action Short. And I don't really want to say anything about it. It's upsetting to watch, but Riz Ahmed does this speech at the end that is just so good. I would give it Best Live Action Short, I think. So yeah, it's on YouTube. A lot of these are on YouTube or Netflix, Hulu. I mean, they're places you can go and find everything. So yeah, at this point I personally would give Best Picture to Coda or Belfast or Power of the Dog, probably.
Okay.
I don't know which I'm gonna guess.
Well, you've given us a lot to think about.
I also wanted to say, if you are a daily game fan like Wordle,
okay,
every day I play Wordle, but my husband also found 2 movie-related ones.
Oh, that's fun.
So there's this one called Box Office Game, where each day it gives you a different week. And like today was like October 13th, 2003 or something. And you have to guess the top 5 box office movies of that week. And you can like reveal things for hints, and it like takes points away if you reveal things. Mm-hmm. And I got my highest score ever today, all by myself. I didn't look anything up. I didn't ask Eric any questions.
Way to go!
I was pretty proud.
Mission
and there's
accomplished.
Another one called Framed, where they show you just a still from a movie, and you have to guess.
That's cool.
The movie, and you get like 5 guesses, and if you get it wrong, it keeps showing you another still.
I see. All right.
Ooh, I just talked a lot.
No, good. All good content. I love it.
Yeah.
I like the sound of these games as well. That sounds pretty good. All right. Well, a lot of the things we mentioned, we have right here in the David A. Howe Public Library. You can come and check them out, or maybe they've been ordered. If you want it and we don't have it, tell us and we'll get it.
They'll do
Not
it.
You, Kendra, because you chose to move far away.
I still have my library card.
Local,
I still can use your Libby.
That's true. Respect. I love it. I love it. Big news coming up here at the library. If you're local, if you're anywhere in the area, on April 8th, the best-selling author Susan Wiggs is going to be here in person, IRL, right here at the David A. Howe Public Library. Yes. Her books, The Lakeshore Chronicles, super popular. Her most recent, The Lost and Found Bookshop, we're currently doing as a book club. I'm right in the middle of it right now. We're going to be doing that the day before she arrives. She's going to do a talk, which is free and open to everyone. And then after that, the friends of the library are throwing a little fundraising reception afterwards, where you can, get some food, meet the author, get your book signed. We have the Bookworm Bookshop from up in East Aurora coming down, so we'll have copies. You're welcome to bring your copy to have signed, or if you'd like to purchase some of her more recent stuff, you can do that as well. We've got raffles going on, so you can get her books. Lots of good stuff. Susan Wiggs happening at the library. I just read one of her, it's like a novella called The Story of Us, and it's about this couple, and he's in the Navy, I want to say, and so they have kind of a quick marriage, a fast courtship, quick marriage, and then it kind of, even though it's a novella, it sort of follows them for the next 30 years or so. Really well done. Really well done. So if you haven't read her before, and you're looking for sort of a quick bite sample, I would really recommend The Story of Us by Susan Wiggs, available digitally, all over the place, so you can check that out.
Awesome.
Yeah. We're rolling into Poetry Month, so Malik's going to be back in a couple of weeks. We're going to be looking at some poetry. Might get him to do a poetry reading again of his original stuff.
Nice.
So you can find Kendra every week on the podcast 902 on Here We Go with me, or 90s Music Got Me Like with my old friend and co-host, Eric Mikols.
Yeah, it's good
Check
time.
That out. Kendra, always fun to talk to you. Nice to pull double duty here, as we've just recorded a conversation we might have had in the real world.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure I'll be telling you more about the Oscars since they are this weekend.
I believe you will.
So.
Yep, that's right. Thanks to my guest, Kendra Mikols. That's going to do it for this week's episode of How's Things. We'll see you next time.
Bye.